Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The article I'm going to discuss today has to do with Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines investigations. And not much with investigation per se, because the authorities that are responsible and claim jurisdiction over the investigation would not share or allow other participants not to get involved in it, but only to observe. So that's very concerning, especially when you want to, or you claim that you are a free country and you're transparent and you are for the truth, and let's see who are the responsible parties for the attacks. So if you remember, Russia asked both Sweden and Denmark access to the investigation to participate or to observe. Their access was denied by both countries, and they say that's confidential and that's their jurisdiction, and they can give you whatever reason they want. Let's put it this way. So this is an article coming from Sputnik from today, the 21st, I think, yes, of October 2022. Russia trying to gain access to Nord Stream attack probe despite Europe's resistance. So Russia is working through diplomatic channels to gain access to the investigation into the incident on the Nord Stream pipelines, but so far Moscow is facing a wall of resistance from relevant countries, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Friday. When you, at least this happens here in the United States of America, and when a police officer stops you for whatever reason, because they can ask you, hey, I thought, are you okay? I don't know, okay, I think I just want to verify your well-being because you were driving too slow or too fast for his liking or assessment. So when they stop you, they ask you for your ID, for your driver's license, registration, whatever else they want to ask you. And then they might ask you this: can I search your car, vehicle? Do you give me permission to do that? And you obviously may say yes or no. Now, usually when you say no, this is usually the next question the law enforcement would ask. If you have nothing to hide, why wouldn't you let me search your car? And that's very logical. And you say, well, because that's my right to not have you look into my ass whenever you want. Thank you for asking. No, you can't. So that is your right to for privacy. Now, remember, he can ask, but his question is, if you have nothing to hide, why wouldn't you let me do that? That means you have something to hide. And this is the same thing, let's say, with the phone, with someone else. Oh, can I look over your phone? No, you can't. That normally implies, well, it's something that you are not supposed to, or why should I? Anyway. So in this case, we have this investigation, and these countries said no. And the obvious logical question is, if you have nothing to hide, why not? Okay? So I think that answers the whole denial coming from, refusal coming from Swedish authorities, German authorities, Danish authorities. And I'm quoting now Mr. Peskov. We are working through diplomatic channels. It is being conducted very intensively with the mentioned countries, but so far we are running into such a wall of unwillingness to interact in any way to get to the truth together. End quote, Peskov said, adding that the truth, and I'm quoting again, will surely surprise many in these European countries if it is made public. End quote. The spokesman noted that the Kremlin has no new data on the investigation since Russia is currently deprived of the opportunity to take part in it. Now, if you remember, in late September, powerful explosions and leaks of fuel were reported on pipelines of Nord Stream network, which plays a key role in transit of Russian gas to Europe. The Swedish and Danish authorities suspect that the incident was the result of sabotage. However, both countries have barred Russia from investigating the attack. The Russian prosecutor generals classified the pipeline blast as act of international terrorism. According to Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova, fantastic person, the investigation of terrorist attacks can be considered reliable and objective only if Moscow participates in it. Well, I don't know if it's only then, but I think that would help dust off all the, questions that might arise regarding this issue and concerns. And yes, if you would conduct an investigation, at least allow the observers to just, okay, what's over here? Okay, what's over here? Then you will obviously gain credibility. The fact that you do not allow this particular country, and you don't know if you allow, I don't know if, let's say, these authorities, the investigators, the authorities who investigate or have jurisdiction over the pipeline over there in that area, economic zone of Denmark and Sweden, I don't know if they allow other countries, if you know what I mean, be observers or participants. I would not be surprised to find in a few years or few months that US investigators were allowed to participate and bring probes and this and that and evidence. And I would not be surprised if the same investigators would not allow the Russians to do the same thing. So that tells me that that's something that is not kosher, all right, over there. From the very beginning, it is not kosher because they don't allow these guys to participate. Certain things that, are very logical in one direction, when you put the shoe on the other foot, it doesn't all of a sudden make sense. I would not be surprised that if these guys, I would not be surprised at all if we will find out, I don't know, in 20 years that it was United States of America or other, actor that, was on the payroll of the big bosses, maybe participant, member of the big club or not. As I said before, I would give, let's say, odds or percentages. Let's say US involvement, I would give it 95%. From 100, so 95% I would give that they were the ones. The Russians, I would give them about 20%. I would say about that, 10% maybe, because if the Russians really wanted to do it, they could have done it somewhere where they had jurisdiction over the whole thing, and they would have conducted the investigation however they wanted, like these guys, exclude everyone and say, hey, it was whomever they wanted. But they didn't do it. They did it in someone else's economic territory, which is harder. See, they're excluded and so on. And those areas are monitored, so it's not like you go over there with a ship and they don't know a ship is over there. Or you go with an airplane and they don't know an airplane flew that way. I mean, they know these things are, and it's close to their coast anyway, at least Denmark's. I would put other weasels that are, acting at the orders of the big boss, which is the first on the list would be Great Britain. Then I would also go to Poland, big time. I would go to Germany a little bit lower. Why do I go to Germany? Because there were some voices in the Bundestag saying that they might, why shouldn't we just open Nord Stream 2 if Nord Stream 1 is blocked with all the maintenance BS? And then I say, okay, yeah, we're going to take care of that. So Nord Stream 2 is going to be out of the discussion from now on by not being operational. And it's still operational because out of the 4 pipelines, 2, Nord Stream 1, 2, Nord Stream 2, 3 were destroyed, and my bad, and 1 was not. So Nord Stream 2 is still operational if it's open, if they agree to do that. So this really, the fact that it's not an transparent investigation tells me that probably the perpetrator is on their side in the big club, not Russia. If Russia would have been clear that it's Russia, they would have just come over and see. But I think they don't know how to cover for it right now and how to, I don't want to say temper the evidence, but it's very possible. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.